Let's head straight to our conversation. The leadership of the Mangu Development Association have reacted to the latest killing of 4 persons in the early hours of Monday, August the 7th, in a village 3 kilometers from Mangu Township. The association says it is displeased with the repeated attacks on their people and failure of security agencies to protect the defenseless Mangu people. They say they are gradually losing confidence in the ability of the soldiers to sincerely protect them. They complain that if something is not done to urgently end the attacks on Mangu community and its neighbors, the humanitarian crisis, which is already building up, could get worse. Also on Monday, women enraged by the constant disruptions to the peace and stability of the communities around Mangu Plateau State staged a protest following the latest killings. Amidst crying and wailing by the distraught protesters, the bodies of the latest victims were taken to the palace of the paramount ruler. Well, a really sad one there from the videos you are seeing on screen. Well, joining us to look into this matter critically via Zoom is from Jos, a security expert, a conflict mediator, and peace advocate, Melvin Ejeh. Melvin, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, TVC. Good morning for having me.
Now, we have seen from the protests and the details we're getting out of Jos, particularly out of Plateau State, particularly the Mangu community, that the women and perhaps everyone there are not satisfied with the performance of security operatives with regards to addressing this matter. And it seems like there is no trust between the people for the police to deliver on what it came to do, ensuring peace and stability in that community. Why is that? That's the question, because we saw the women protesting, saying that they do not want security operatives in that community and that they were going to handle things themselves, so to speak. And now we are getting also this update saying that the security operatives have not been proactive at addressing this matter. What really is going on?
Thank you very much. Let me first condole with the families that have lost their life and the people and the government and people of Plateau State. Let me condole with them over this unfortunate attack again. Losing confidence on the security agency is normal and is expected because that's what people will do when there is an attack like this. However, my point is very clear that we can't continue to go on like this. We really can't continue moving on in this cycle forever. We must continue to trust our security agencies so that they can carry out their work. Let me give you an example. The response time the security agencies have now, particularly Operation Safe Haven, have never been this good. That incident that happened that night was as a result of a calculated assassination attack in Chalial village, where these suspected herdsmen came to a village and had down a family of 4. And the STF responded within 15, 20 minutes. What else could they have done? In a normal circumstance, what else could they have done? The response within that time was sufficient enough, that time was professional enough, and that time was actually adequate enough. They responded. But as you all know, these bandits won't wait. They have an agenda. They plan without the consent of the STF. Sometimes they break intelligence by planning because you can't even get intelligence where they plan. They just plan swiftly, come to indication, attack and move back. So it's not always possible to get them on the spot. But this STF, under the command of Major General Abusalah Abubakar, has killed these bandits, several of them, since he has home office. What else could they have done? Why losing confidence in the security agency instead of working closely with them? For me, what I expect from the community is to continue to work with security agencies, continue to share intelligence with them, continue to open their mind to allow these people to work. They are not magicians, and they won't really do magic in that location. I sympathize with families that have lost their life. I sympathize with one of the protesters that died. But we honestly can't continue like this. We must continue to trust our security agencies to enable them to do their work.
All right. So we had a press release. We have a press release by the Magavul Development Association on the latest attacks that occurred on Sunday. And they too also share the sentiments of these protesting women who say they don't want the army, they don't want the soldiers anymore in their domains. On the basis of them, according to, the protesters, not knowing the terrains of, the area of Mangu and the neighboring towns. And what do you make of this? Because now they're saying they prefer policemen. And then again, what do you know, or what can you tell us about partnership between the army and, sister agencies that could help in its work?
I was very frank with, for a very long while now, the partnership between the army, the police, the DSS, and civil defense have been very cordial. They have been doing a lot of work together, and we're seeing results in that regard. For the women who protested, it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate that some of them may have been used or are being used to carry out this campaign. If you take out the STF from Plateau, I'm assuring you, Plateau will become a bloody place. The STF is really doing a lot, even though some people have refused to say this fact for several reasons, maybe that is best known to them. But if you take STF out of Plateau State, you are never going to have a peaceful plateau. That is not the problem. The problem is to solve the fundamental issue. This fundamental issue, like I've always maintained, is criminality. Until we solve this issue of criminality, we'll continue to go on in this cycle. Telling STF to leave, I don't think that is the wise decision. It's just a decision out of emotion. It's an instigated decision. It's a decision that I feel is coming out from some quotas who felt that the STF overstayed. Though they may have their bad eggs, because in every given society, there are bad eggs. Even in the churches and mosques, there are bad eggs. So I don't expect that the STF will be meant with sense. Or just like the police have their bad eggs, just like the DSS have their bad eggs, just like the civil defense have their bad eggs, the STF also have their bad eggs. But you cannot generalize the activities of the STF as not doing well. The STF are doing well. They have done so well in stabilizing peace in Plateau State and other parts of the country where they are doing. We're not just waiting for this military. We work closely with them. And the community also know these facts. But I don't understand why it is this round of campaign, day in, day out, remove soldiers, remove this, remove that. I don't think that's the best thing to do. These criminals live within our society. We must begin to expose them, allow security to do their work. Like I maintained earlier, the STF and every other security agencies are not magicians. They work together with the police. They work together with the civil defense. They work together. If you bring the Nigerian police, they're not going to do magic. If you bring the DSS alone, they're not going to do magic. If you bring civil defense, they're not going to do magic. They are still going to rely on the intelligence to work. So why don't we work together with these people, share intelligence to enable them to do their work? It's not about removing them. Removing them will do us more harm than do us good in Mangu and the environment. Now, there are kind of attack that these marauders coming, that it takes the STF and their superior power to face. We have to face this fact. We have to face this fact. Even those people have refused to believe this fact, but it doesn't matter. The facts are there to speak for themselves. They are there on the ground. If you go to Mangu, most of the entrance point of these marauders have been blocked. What you have now in Mangu local government is an isolated criminal attack. Very, very isolated criminal attack. And with little time from now, this attack will become a thing of the past.
All right, Melvin, let's quickly put you on hold so we can go on break. When we return, we'll continue this conversation with you. Do stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. Before we went on the break, we were speaking with a security expert, conflict mediator, and peace advocate, Melvin Ejeh, on the attack in Mangu community in Plateau State and the fact that there has been protests with regards to the presence of security operatives in that community, where the women came out to protest and are asking for them to leave because they felt the security operatives are not being proactive. Now, Melvin, you said that before we went on the break, you said that this case, what we are seeing happening in Mangu is an isolated criminal attack. But the question is, who are these criminals? Why is this attack, fought like the people are asking, taking so long to quell as it is? If we say it's an isolated attack, have we been able to place our fingers on who these people are that are carrying out this attack? Because if you look at the statement we got that Kemi mentioned earlier, there are questions being asked that how do we explain the fact that people are attacked in their sleep and disappear unchallenged? Why are they grazing with their cattle on our crops after cutting it down? These are the questions they are asking, and these acts happen on a weekly or even daily basis. They are also wondering why security is not taking the battle to these heartless murderers in the bush, which they hide and plan their attacks. I'm reading verbatim what the questions these persons are asking, talking about the Magabo Development Association.
I strongly sympathize with the Mangu Development Association. I feel their pain. That is a home for me. In Mangu local government is a home for me. Let me start from your first questions. Who are these criminals? The criminals are known. The criminals are people that have threatened Plateau State, peace-loving people of Plateau State. They have threatened Mangu people. But let me assure you, there are very sensitive security information I can't be divulging on national television. I've always maintained. And I want to blame the SPF Operation Safe Haven for one thing, and this is where I'm going to. They don't blow their trumpets. Several of these criminals have been arrested, even with arms. But they won't say to the media, I don't know what the issue. I tried speaking to some of the commanders, and what they would tell me is that we are still investigating. Even if you are investigating, parade them, let the public know that arrests have been made, steps have been taken. On a weekly basis, on a daily basis, these criminals are being raided, they are being arrested. Unfortunately, the STF have a mindset where they believe that they don't do media work, they don't do media show. You just have to do media show. You need to gain the confidence of the people. People need to know what you are doing for them. Now, the issue of the attack not finishing, it's not strange because it's lack of trust. The community don't trust the STF anymore, so they don't even share intelligence with them. And that's why some of them are not saying what they are doing. These guys are really working. They have sleepless by the commander, the GOC. Let me assure you. I wish you can call him 2 a.m. You'll be awake. 3 a.m. is awake. How can somebody rise up to the rank of Major General and not even have rest and say it's not working? They raid constantly this hideout. They are on the trail of this bandit. But unfortunately, these bandits have a chain. They have a base. They are so much that they can't finish overnight. The criminals are known. There are people that have been attacking Plateau every day. They didn't deny it, some of them. They didn't deny it. So I do not think that they are not known. They are known and they are going after them. And I assure you that in a matter of little time, they will fizzle out. The kind of effort General Busalan have brought to the bear now, I do not think that this criminal will stand it in a couple of weeks and a month. But it's not something that I will up overnight. It has to take days, to take weeks for it to finish. Because these crimes have been there before he came. Other commanders do their very best. So from where he's taking it up, I'm sure the criminals will finish. And the issue of grazing, there is a law in Mangu, an unwritten law in Mangu already that is working. I don't understand why some of these marauders deliberately don't want peace. How can you go and graze in someone's farm that you have suffered to make over the years? For crying out loud, what are you expecting to eat in the farming season and in the dry season? However, several arrests of these cattle have been made. Some were handed over to the appropriate authority for prosecution. So you can't blame STF. STF arrests these cows too, but they won't say it on the media.
Melvin, we can't hear you anymore. It seems we lost your audio, or you unmute yourself. Melvin?
Yes.
Melvin?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Right. We couldn't hear you at some point. It seems something happened, but you could just repeat some of the things you were saying before we lost your audio.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Sorry, I think his network has been so bad. Like I said, the STF are doing so much, but they are not blowing their trumpets.
All right.
On a daily basis, they make arrests. On a daily basis, they are making arrests. On a daily basis, they are working, they are tramping down these criminals, but they won't say it. So I don't know why they are not. That's my quarrel with the STF, with Operation Safe Haven. You are doing so much and people are not hearing it. You don't assume that people will know that you are working. They raid these criminal highlights on a daily basis. They arrest cows on a daily basis. They go after the criminals on a daily basis. They neutralize them on a daily basis. So we don't understand why they are not saying it. I spoke to one of the commander. What he told me was that we cannot go to the media or have not concluded our investigation. But I tell them to go. Start from the process of arrest. Give people confidence that you are making arrest. Tell them that you are working to safeguard them. And at that point, confidence will return.
Right. We even heard that point. The point that I think you also need to clarify before the network, issue, you were speaking to that and I wanted you to land. It also, was like part of my next question, which has to do with the meetings between MACBAN, that's the Cattle Rearers Association, and MDA, the Medieval
and the Magavu
Development Association too, because according to the MDA, they say agreements reached at those critical meetings, and there've been several meetings according to the MDA, but agreements reached are usually breached by the other side. That's MACBAN, and I know Veronica asked you something along that line, which were answered before the network issue about, them coming on to graze on other people's farms. I don't know what insights you have in this regard about deals, peace deals not being reached between both sides.
Well, let me be very categorical here. It's very sad that some people don't want peace. It's very sad that some people are out to sabotage the effort of this peace-loving governor that's come to the plateau. Several meetings have been held and agreements have been reached, just like MDA stated. Several meetings have been held. And there are resolutions that peace should be maintained by all parties. If these meetings are reached, and if I didn't go to touch your cow, why would you bring your cow to come and graze in my farm? For crying out loud. But I do not want to look at that as an action of general MACBAN or general Fulani people, but the act of some criminals among them. And that's why I narrow my point to criminality. For instance, maybe when the meeting took place, the people that came for the meeting didn't go back home to brief their ward. They didn't go back home to brief their community. We could have this kind of fallout. And one of the major issues we're having is this child grazing. A child that is not up to 15 years, why would you give him several heads of cow to go and graze? It's not right. You don't give him several heads of cow to go and graze. Sometimes he loses control of this cow and they go into people's farm and destroy their crop. And you say the people should not be angry. It is not possible. They will just have to be angry. So we must look at the issue of advocacy among MACBAN, among the MDs. Several meetings have been held, some are still ongoing. But I wonder why some criminal Fulanis will not keep to the side of this bargain. I wonder why they will not keep to the side of this bargain. But I don't want to generalize that to the action of MACBAN as a body, the action of the entire Fulani as a people. I'm a peace practitioner and I'll be unfair to stereotype the Fulani people. That's not fair. So when this isolated act of criminality is carried out, security agencies are urged to investigate to arrest perpetrators.
Right. So, and still on the communique that was shared, the MDA, that's the Magavu Development Association, is asking that the security operatives collaborate with the Nigeria Hunters Association and vigilantes who have better knowledge of the terrain if they must succeed in flushing out these criminals out of their forests. I wonder what you make of that.
I think I agree absolutely with MD on that. There's a need for perfect collaboration between the MD, between the hunters, between the vigilante group and the local security to be able to get adequate information and know the background. Well, like you said, the Hunters Association and the vigilante live in the community. They know that terrain very well. So there's a need for collaboration. That's not out of place. And I'm urging the Operation Safe Haven to carry them along in all the operation. I'm also aware that the GOC is doing something in that regard. It's forming a collaboration between them, where in every checkpoint now you go to Magavu land, you're going to see members of the hunters, you're going to see members of the vigilante in those checkpoints. And even in their routine patrol within the local government, the GOC is already doing something in that regard. All I would urge them is to intensify that arrangement to make sure that it gets to all the villages in Mangu and environment.
The issue of arrests also, I wonder what room there is for stakeholders as yourself, because of course you're providing critical information to us now about what the army has done so far in partnership with others. But beyond these arrests, because there's also the concern as to what happens after the arrests have been made. Are we sure that these people do not come back to regular society? To continue the mayhem, and how much impact these arrests will make on the general safety or the drive to achieve general safety in Mangu and beyond?
It boiled down to my point of blaming the Operation Safe Haven for not being media for not carrying out media advocacy. Okay, when you make arrests, what we should know is that Operation Safe Haven do not prosecute all cases. They don't prosecute all cases. There are agencies saddled with the responsibility of prosecution. And I am very sure when these arrests are made, they are handed over to the appropriate agencies. I am sure of this fact, I'm telling you. But because they don't see it, how will people know? It is not their responsibility to go to court and go and prosecute these criminals. When they arrest these criminals, they hand them over to the appropriate agencies. It is now left for those agencies to carry their work. But one of the reasons why people are blaming them is because they didn't do media to tell people where these people are going to. The public don't do follow-up. So what I advise to police do is that if you make an arrest, if you hand over to any agency, call the press, address the press that, look, we have done our part, we have done this arrest, and we are giving it to agency X, Y, Z for prosecution. Well, if they don't do their work, the public will check them. But at every point, they are leaving a blame on their head because you just feel you are a soldier, you don't want to talk. You have to talk. This is the Democratic Army. The Democratic Army must begin to talk. We must begin to blow your trumpet because if you don't say it, who will know? So my point is very simple. The military must be conscious about doing media. It was conscious about telling people their day-to-day action, every action they have carried to secure lives and property in Mangu, Plateau, and environment. They must not shy from this fact.
All right. Now, there is a concern about the humanitarian situation deteriorating in that community. And if you could just paint us a picture of what the situation is and being a mediator, what do you think, beyond the kinetic approach, can be done to perhaps ensure that we have some level of stability in that community?
That's the one that breaks my heart the most. People are suffering. They are going through hell. If you go there and see women and children who can't even raise sanitary pad, it's very sad. Just sanitary pad. The water situation is very bad. The sanitary situation is very bad. The food and shelter is very bad. This is the rainy season, mind you, and people are going through hell. My appeal to NGOs and other well-meaning organizations is to come to the aid of Mangu people and Plateau at large. For me, in our NGO, we are doing a lot. We'll be going to Mangu tomorrow again to carry out some humanitarian services. We are doing this. We are going to villages. We are not just stopping at the local government headquarters. We are going to villages to ensure that the people are touched. But there is a little too much. There is a little we can do. One of the agencies that have not really seen what they are doing much is NEMA. I think NEMA should come to Mangu and see what is happening there. Doctor Without Borders, I'm calling on all the NGOs to come there because their plight is so sad. The governor of Plateau is doing so much, but you know the crisis is beyond him. He's barely 3 months in the office. There's still little to what he can do now concerning the humanitarian situation. These people need to go back to their farms, and they can't really go back now. So my appeal to Nigerians, Dangote, the Abu Samad, the Bill Gates of this world should come to Mangu. They are really going through a lot in Mangu local government. For NGOs, for us who are in NGOs, who are in the development community, we are doing our best, but there's a little we can do. We'll be going to Mangu tomorrow again on humanitarian intervention in terms of medicals, in terms of shelter, in terms of sharing sanitary pads for women. Imagine adolescent girls who can use pad. You know how
Melvin, it seems we've lost connection with you again.
To the
and
network.
this is a critical point I would really like for him to speak to, being that he is on the ground to help us paint a vivid picture of how sad the situation is. But I guess network has said no.
But the little he has said, he also speaks to the dire situation.
Yes, how dire the situation is, and how he's calling on well-meaning Nigerians around the community and even outside that community to come show some level of support. Melvin?
Thank you. I can hear you.
Right, we can hear you now. Network again.
Yeah, network is so bad. And like I said, the humanitarian situation in Mangu is so sad. It's one of the worst I've ever seen in my development work in Nigeria. And I'm calling on international communities, calling on Dangote, the Abu Samad, the women in Nigeria, the Bill Gates of this world to come to Mangu and come and salvage the people of Mangu local government. This is the farming season, and the people need to go back to their homes.
Children living in the IDP camps.
If you go to the IDP camp, you are going to cry because you see children who have having common malaria, cholera, and don't have water. They don't have water. They don't have drugs. Like I said, the governor is barely 3 months, and the governor can't really do much because of the finance and the level of the magnitude of the IDPs in the IDP camps.
All right.
It's so massive that no state government can alone do this. I'm calling on the other governors to begin to come to Mangu. Please, all the 36 state governors, come to Mangu and come and rescue the people of Mangu local government. They are really going through a lot.
Melvin Ejeh, we have to leave the conversation here, but we must thank you for your work that you are doing. And thank you also for your time and the insight you gave to the situation in Mangu community as we speak. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Welcome.